This man had just arrived at his house, but his ride had been followed by unwanted company. The man exited the taxi and started walking towards his home. At that very moment, another car can be seen approaching from behind. The man was now being pressured right in front of his home by these culprits. He tried his best to fight them off, but they were outnumbering the old-timer. The lack of shame showed here is disgusting. This was inside a restaurant where this family was having a good time together. Unbeknown to them, a couple of culprits were plotting just yards away from the building. The leader of the circus entered the place, pointing a firearm at one of the men by the table. The robbery began as we see the other culprits joining in. This must have been terrifying for this family. We can see the mother shifting towards the young man seated there, as she knew how these experiences can affect these young ones. The unpredictability of these culprits makes these situations more haunting. Fortunately, no one was physically hurt in the end, but this was not a good experience, especially for the young boy. This home was unfortunately targeted by these culprits in the middle of the day. The owners were not around, but their home camera recorded the whole ordeal. We first see the leading culprit inspecting the gate as they prepared to break into the property. They must have scouted this home for some time. There was little to no urgency in their actions. We then see them trying to force the locked gate open by pushing the metal gate. The gate easily opens and the culprits begin their foul plan. It is always recommended to invest in alarm systems on these properties. They might scare off these culprits if triggered before they get access inside the homes. The neighbors might also hear these alarms, and the more attention the situation gets, the higher the possibility these clowns might second-guess their actions. They went on to break inside the house and escape with many valuables from the house. In the next clip, the culprits had already managed to enter this home. We first see the leading culprit trying to open a locked door inside the home. He manages to barge through, followed by another culprit. The remaining culprits were moving around the house, looking for anything they could get their hands on. They had targeted this house because it was being used as a makeshift business for selling alcohol. We then transition to another camera where the culprits are now threatening a lady on a bed. This must have been horrific for her to wake up to a gun on her face. The lady had no choice but to comply as we see her trying to open every space she could find valuables for this ordeal to end. They ended up taking what they deemed valuable and left the house. The next video starts with these culprits struggling to open a gate at a residence. Their plan was to open the way for the vehicle to enter, but this was becoming a bit complicated for the clan. They continued to argue as they exchanged ideas on how to complete this foul action. The other culprit can be seen handing his colleague a crowbar to try and complete the job, but that also seemed to not be helping. These houses really need to be secured with additional security measures which can be triggered and alert security personnel. Investing in armed response teams which consistently patrol these areas can also go a long way in lessening these actions. Data captured at police stations across South Africa recorded 40,751 cases of home burglaries between October to December 2023. Roughly 453 incidents a day. They finally managed to open the gate as we see the vehicle enter the residence. This is another case where the homeowner was not at home. They began emptying the home in broad daylight, taking advantage of this unfortunate situation. The top 10 worst areas for break-ins in South Africa includes Plesisler, Mountain Rise, Margate, Inanda and KwaZulu-Natal, Witbank in Mpumalanga, and Weerdebrug, Roodeport in Gauteng. The culprits continued on before escaping the scene with the hard-earned efforts of the homeowners. These homeowners were just entering their home as usual, but a bunch of dangerous people had followed them home. The vehicle entered the yard as usual, but right before the gate fully closed, culprits entered the yard, going straight for the occupants. Right outside, we can see their getaway car waiting to escape with these clowns. They finally finished the heist and left, but not before threatening another vehicle right near their getaway car.